Thank you, Jody, and thank you everyone for being out here today, and especially the media. Thank you. Nevada incarcerates on a per population basis more people than every democratic state and country in the world. That's according to the National Prison Association. And it's a sad state of affairs when a state gives $300 million in a budget to take care of these incarcerated people who are in there for all different kinds of reasons. And the way they are treated is so poor. This week our city has been hit with more tragedy on Monday. And it's a hard thing to talk about because Dennis Prince was also looked up to him as a mentor and a trial attorney. And what we have here is that's a tragedy that can be controlled. But what we have in our prison system is tragedies that 100% can be prevented. And no one cares to do anything about it. No government officials care. We hear the same stories over and over and over again. You're going to hear from Jody about the Ely bus system, where when the prison system wants to retaliate against the people it's supposed to be taking care of, they put them on a bus and ship them to Ely so that they can beat them outside of cameras, outside of security footage. Now, through other lawsuits, we've gotten some of that footage, and we're trying to hold them accountable, but they just did it again. Who's gonna hold them accountable? You can't take inmates, ship them to another prison outside of cameras, and then beat them. It doesn't make sense. It's not fair, it's not just. Anthony Kennedy, Justice Kennedy from the Supreme Court in 2003, talking to a group of attorneys, pleaded with them to help change the prison system, because when these men and women are incarcerated, attorneys and the public just forget about them, and they are treated so inhumanely across the country because of that. And he pleaded with attorneys to try to solve this problem. He pointed to a book by a Professor Whitman, in which his conclusion of that book was that the entire United States prison system is solely to demean and humiliate its inmates. And that's what we're seeing in Nevada every day, every case, all these families. They're here because their loved ones are being treated inhumanely every day, not given medical care they need, not given just basic needs that are supposed to be taken care of, that we as a public provide the money to the state to take care of those needs. So we're giving them the money and then they're not using it for those purposes. We're going to talk about body cams. Every correctional officer is supposed to have body cam. It's in the budget and they still don't have it. It's been years. Why don't they wear body cam? Because they're hiding their crimes. They're hiding from their gross negligence every day. Christian died almost a year ago under some of the most inhumane, cruel circumstances a person can imagine. And his poor mother has had to live with that, knowing that the state of Nevada allowed that to happen. The root cause of this problem for Christian is that the leaders of the Nevada Department of Corrections allows an environment where physical retaliation is permitted, brutality. And a lot of times these correctional officers, they do their best to bring it right to the line, to beat, but not to kill. Well, in Christian's case, they failed. Their passions overtook them, and they beat him till he died and left him in a cell all by himself, naked and alone, crying for medical care outside of the infirmary where there were nurses and supposed to be a doctor on staff. He pleaded for his life. Other prisoners, other inmates heard that pleading, and no one came to him. Instead, they left him to lie there naked to die. And then what these officials did, like they've always done over the years, is instead of trying to solve the root cause problem of why their guards become animals so impassioned that they're unable to control their emotions until they kill another human, instead of figuring out why that's the case, they go to start covering it up. They start editing medical records. They start destroying evidence. I guarantee you we're going to find out as part of our lawsuit they've already destroyed video and photographic evidence. Why? To hide their crimes, so that they can keep getting a bigger budget. And then they pressure young doctors, young coroners. Why do they do that? So that the coroner can make a finding of death by natural causes. Natural causes. As part of Christian's case, the coroner report lists blunt force trauma to every part of his body from head to toe. But her end conclusion, as a result of conspiratorial actions on the part of the leadership of the Nevada Department of Corrections, is death by natural causes. And so the killing and the brutality continues day after day, month after month, year after year. I'm grateful for this organization that is trying to put a stop to it, trying to raise a flag of care to the public. And I'm grateful for all you being here. I want to say one last thing, if I could, while I have the mic, about Dennis. He was Las Vegas and the state of Nevada lost one of the greatest trial attorneys it's ever seen, that it's ever known, that's ever stepped in a Las Vegas courtroom. And I plead with all the public, and especially attorneys, to deal with your mental health, to deal with your substance abuse, to become a better person so that this doesn't happen again. There's too much needless tragedy as it is. We deal with cancer, we deal with all the other things we got to deal with. We can prevent a lot of these other tragedies by fixing ourselves and not, abusing substances and everything else we do to hide the pain that we have inside, which causes us to beat inmates to death, which causes us in a deposition to shoot another man, another attorney. It's just, we have to do better. And so I'm grateful again for Jody and everybody here. And now we're gonna have the chance to hear from Christian's mother, Annette Walker.
Good morning, everybody. We gotta go turn it on. I'm here today, not just as a grieving mother, but as a voice for my son and all inmates that are being mistreated in the prison system. My son Christian's life was cut short under circumstances no human being should ever have to go through. He was beaten to death. He was housed for 25 years at Southern Desert Correctional Center. His model behavior earned him a spot on the Inmate Advisory Council under Warden Brian Williams. Christian was not only respected by his peers, but also many correctional officers. Then, due to a medical episode, he was transferred to High Desert on April 12th. Christian was not perfect, but none of us are. He was one of the greatest gifts in my life. His time behind bars spoke a lot about the man he was becoming. He turned to faith and became a minister, and expressed it very well. He was very positive to all around him. His smile could light up the darkest room, and his heart was filled with so much love and compassion for others. In his class, that's what his words of the year was, compassion. Christian understood the value of education and self-improvement. He worked very hard to better himself, earning his bachelor's degree while he was incarcerated. He was also a champion in the CrossFit episode where all the guys get together and try to be the best. He won the champion more than a few times and at the prison, and he won first place awards in various athletic competitions. He loved ping pong and was also the Scrabble champion. He dreamed of the day he would walk free, eager to share his journey to contribute to society and to live the rest of his life as a testimony to the power of change and forgiveness. Christian wanted to use his story to help others avoid the mistakes that he made. But that day will never come. He lived 44 years, 7 months, and 2 days. My son's life was not without trials, but he faced them head on with a strength and courage that inspired everyone that he met. He was looking forward to be released possibly in June of 2023 by appearing to the pardon board. The loss of Christian is not just a personal tragedy. For our family, he was loved. It was a loss for everyone who believed in second chances. He was so much more than the circumstances of his death. He was my son, a brother, an uncle, a friend, a mentor, an artist, and a man of faith. Today I am not seeking vengeance, but I do want to seek answers. Answers to why my son was murdered, why the system that was supposed to help him and other inmates be rehabilitated, but ending up where his life was taken. No mother should have to bury her child, especially under a stretching circumstance. Christian's death raises serious questions about the treatment of inmates. About the conditions within the prisons and about the very nature of our justice system. Who is in charge? And why is no one being held accountable for such horrific behavior against human life? Why is this behavior acceptable to some people? I will not allow my son Christian's death to be swept under the rug or be forgotten. Let us honor him by demanding accountability, transparency, and reform within our prison system. They need to all step up. I miss my son every day, and the pain of his loss is indescribable. But I stand here before all of you to ensure that his death was not in vain. Christian Walker's life mattered, and it's up to us to ensure that his story is heard and that meaningful changes will follow.
Yeah.